Hello, welcome to the 6 PM news. This is Lancashire News today. And the first item on our broadcast this week is that of the fracking issue in Lancashire. It's been causing quite a stir in the local community. The fracking again. The fracking, yeah. The company Quadrilla claims nobody need not be concerned, whereas on the other hand, we've had local residents complain it's ruined their lives as they know. Earlier this week, we sent our agent Lewis down on the ground to investigate and see what's happened.
So I started my investigation in Lancashire, and the first thought of mine was to look at a resident's point of view. So I went to go meet 98-year-old Fred, who lived there all his life, and he was having some troubling issues with the fracking. So here I am in this angry resident's house. Fred here, 98 years old, has lived there all his life. Fred, nice to meet you. So, can you tell me, how has the fracking operation by Quadrilla affected you?
Well, there's been a lot of racket around this place, like a lot of drilling and stuff like that, and there's so many people protesting, all those engines going out. There's just so many drills and everything's going on every day. And there's all this talk of earthquakes and it sounds so dangerous. Like, I've lived in this village all my life. I don't want to have to move out because my house fell down.
How have these earthquakes affected you?
I haven't actually felt any, but surely they're only going to get bigger in this drilling. That's what everyone seems to be saying. And I just don't want any damage to the house. Like, what about the oils that's leaking into the wall supposedly? It's supposed to like set light to the fires and everything. In America, they're saying the taps are all setting light.
So would water leakage from the sites be your main concern?
I guess so. Surely it's not healthy for me to drinking chemicals and shit that's gone into the fracking.
Sorry about that to the viewers at home. So, you were saying?
Yeah, so all the chemicals in the water can't be healthy for me, like, especially like when they're saying in the US with stupid Trump letting the water burn out of the taps. Surely that can't be good. Don't want my taps setting light as they come out.
I do see your point of view, Fred, I really do. But can you see the benefits of the shale gas in the UK?
Well, like, surely we want to stop global warming and everything like that. They're all saying in the government that we want to stop it, it's bad for us, it's going to cause every problems. But, so what's this going to do with shale gas? Surely that's going to increase it. Not that I care much, because I'm going to die soon, so it's not going to affect me anyway. But, it'd be nice for the grandparent kids to have somewhere to grow up, you know.
Yeah. So here I am with Mr. Kumar from the Environmental Agency. Very nice to meet you. So what we want to know is what the media are reporting to say the environmental concerns regarding Quadrilla and the fracking. Is it true?
Yes, so the Quadrilla site is very much an environmental risk. Now, apart from the increased seismic activity that we all know about, the Quadrilla site has breached many environmental regulations. One of these is that they have unpermitted discharge of their wastewater into nearby brooks. Now, this is breaching the Environmental Regulation Act of 2010. And by not telling us this, they've breached their intention to act upon it, as stated by the Act of 1991. Unfortunately, the site is also surrounded by many aquifers and underground wells. And since the geomembrane is integrally unstable, the chemicals that they use in fracking could contaminate these underground wells. Now, the worst impact that this could have is maybe loss of livestock or water pollution.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. So we've also heard from the British Geological Survey that insufficient storage on site increasing the air pollution in the area. Is this also true?
Yes, this is very true. Now, Quadrilla have been caught on at least 22 occasions that we know of unpermitted handling of their waste on site or excessive handling or excessive storage of their waste on site. Now, after we've sent these letters, we haven't had any confirmation that they've actually acted upon this. Along with this, they haven't when they're sending off their waste to these disposal sites, or when they are even doing this that we know of, they're incorrectly labelling their waste. They're not stating the correct chemical hazards associated with their waste, which just makes the handling of and disposal of these chemicals very hard. And this could obviously cause potential hazards for the people that's working on these disposable sites, and also for the people that's working on the Quadrilla site, because the excessive waste could leak onto the site and obviously injure their employees.
So regarding what I said before about the increased air pollution, am I right in saying that fracking actually releases 4% of methane gas into the air?
Yeah, so like with many other fracking sites, the Quadrilla site will also be leaching about 4% of methane gas into the air. Now, the worst thing about this is that methane gas intensifies the greenhouse effect 25 times more than carbon dioxide does. And also, the other bad things we've noticed about the Quadrilla site is that the Environmental Agency is having trouble monitoring the particulates, as they say, that they're releasing into the air. This is mainly because most of the equipment has gone faulty, or they're not servicing the equipment on a regular basis. So we're experiencing a lot of difficulty working with Quadrilla to establish a sustainable approach for fracking.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. You've shed some light on a very, very troubled issue here in Lancashire. So here I am with the local manager of the National Grid, Mr. Burrow. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So firstly, can you tell me a bit about yourself and the local National Grid here?
Well, yes, I work for the National Grid. We specialise in the gas sector. We supply gas and electric to the UK, and currently 44% of the gas that we get is from UK sources, but the rest from the international companies, so I mean from Russia and Norway.
So how would supply of natural gas from the Lancashire site affect the National Grid?
Well, currently the Lancashire site is covered by Gridrillia, and it has an estimated 200 trillion cubic feet of gas, where the UK has 3 trillion cubic feet a year usage of gas. So the National Grid actually wants to buy this gas, and it would be really useful for the UK economy due to the principles of supply and demand. If we have more gas, it reduces the demand for technically, so the prices will drop, so it will benefit the whole UK economy.
Very interesting. But do you have concerns about this fracking site?
Well, yes, they've breached the regulations 7 times in 10 months, which is an outrageous amount of times. So I'm worried that the supply, this is going to close further sites down. So in the future, we won't be able to get as much gas from other companies. So we can't use it basically.
So here I am with the CEO of Quadrilla here. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We know that fracking's not great in the public image recently. How can you reassure the people here that the work you're doing is good?
Well, as you're aware, within the United Kingdom, fracking is on a small scale. We won't see the immediate benefits of it yet until we carry out more fracking. And we can see that in the United States, where they're carrying out fracking everywhere, and they can see the immediate benefits of it. They've got cheaper shale gas and cheaper energy, so they don't have to rely on other countries for energy.
So far, we've only seen the negative impacts of the fracking. I mean, don't shoot the messenger, but there's been earthquakes. I mean, how are you going to address these issues?
We've got policies in place to halt fracking if we detect a Richter scale of 0.5, any tremors above 0.5. But to reassure our stakeholders, we could bring that value down to 0.1. And yeah.
I mean, it's known that Quadrilla has actually failed and it's breached multiple environmental policies. How are you going to address that?
That's fake news. You have to understand that addressing these issues is a long procedure. It takes time to validate these results and address them. Just because it takes a long time doesn't mean we haven't addressed these issues. But we can also carry out monthly or quarterly geological surveys to reassure our stakeholders and the local community that we're doing what's in the best interest of them and the environment.
You're a liar. Here I am, once again, and I'm here with an investor this time, who's invested within Quadrilla. Nice to meet you.
Brilliant to meet you.
So who are you? What's your story? Why are you involved in fracking?
Well, basically, I'm an investor as part of the AJ Lucas Group, who are invested in Quadrilla and the fracking projects in Lancashire. I've just returned from a lovely holiday in Hawaii. My investments are going very well at the minute, but I'm majorly concerned about the current state of the fracking in the UK.
Why are you concerned? Because fracking has been occurring on this new site already, isn't it?
Yes, but it's so intermittent. Like, I'm losing £94,000 a day. Well, the company is, which really affects my investment. So every day doesn't happen, £94,000 down the drain. I think the seismic activity, as soon as it exceeds 0.5, fracking stopped. That's government legislation and regulation. But I think it should be increased so my investment's protected and fracking can actually take off in the UK.
I see. So what's the likelihood of all the fracking in Lancashire just stopping?
Well, it's a huge worry for me at the minute. Like, they've breached regulations several times now. It's absolutely ridiculous, and there's so much bad press around it that unless the government might reverse their approval of fracking, which is going to lose me so much money, there'll be no more holidays to Hawaii anyway.
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
So here I am actually at Quadrilla site in Lancashire. Excuse me, just very quick word. Are you one of the employees at the plant?
Yes,
What's your name?
Mr. Dave.
Mr. Dave, very nice to meet you, Mr. Dave. Just a quick question. Do you know how many times you've breached regulations in the last few years?
I can't say for sure, but I know it's at least 7 times over the past 10 months.
So what regulations were breached?
Waste management regulations. We had a lot of waste spilled and it affected a lot of the surrounding areas as well. Water Resource Acts as well. Mostly use small local water sources and it tends to drain out the water for like the local environment, so that causes issues there as well. We've had some of the toxic surface water run off as well in the environment. There are leaks in some of our equipment as well. Our air monitoring systems don't really work, they need more care and maintenance. On several occasions, seismic activity has actually surpassed 0.5 on the Richter scale, which would normally be cause for stopping of the fracking, but that doesn't always seem to happen. And the biggest problem that we have is the waste storage. The leak significant amounts of waste into the environment, and this has happened at least 20 times over the past 3 months.
Real insight here from an employee at Quadrilla. How could these breaches have been prevented?
Pretty easily, really. Most of the breaches would have been prevented by regular inspections and maintenance of the equipment, so the air monitoring facilities and the storage tanks and that. The water should have been sourced from a much larger and sustainable source, such as like the Irish Sea, which is like quite nearby and it's not going to run out of water. And just adhering to regulations about stopping and fracking whenever there's seismic activity and about waste storage. Really, all this happened just because the CEO's a money-grabbing fiend, if you ask me.
Thanks for your insight there. We won't let this get out. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, after Lewis saw everything from all sides down on the ground there, we at Lancashire News today have got a special treat for you. We've got everyone to address their concerns on our live panel show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guests.
Please welcome Mr. Egan, CEO of Quadrilla. Please welcome Mr. Kumar, part of the Environmental Agency. Now, Mr. Benitez from the National Grid. Fred, resident. And Mr. Dave from Quadrilla.
Hello.
So we'll start with the angry resident, Fred, 98 years old from Lancashire.
Back in my day, this was never the problem. Like, there was no talk of earthquakes, no talk of flames coming out of taps. What is this? People just used to go down coal mines and do the cotton. Even he said that it was shit working for you guys back in.
Shut up, Fred.
Excuse me, who's your line manager, Mr. Dave?
It doesn't matter who's my line manager. You're responsible here.
I'm responsible.
Yes, you.
I'm gonna have to reconsider your future in the company, Mr. Dave. You're fired.
Right, Mr. Egan, I think he was wrongfully fired when you're the one who's responsible for all the environmental regulations that your company is breaching. You're the one who's supposed to be acting upon it. And I also feel like they should stop all fossil fuels operation within the area as well as soon as possible.
All fossil fuel operation?
Yes, because I feel like they're impacting more on the,
serious?
on the sustainability of any given.
But how would you charge your iPhone? How would you do anything?
Well, there are loads of sustainable energy developments.
Back to the point, what the hell are you
Have you
doing in
not
this town?
noticed that?
It's bloody awful.
How dare you?
I think this is over.
Fred, oh, we're gonna have to stop like. So that'll be the end of our broadcast
My
today.
lawyers are going to be in touch, Fred.
Thank you and good night.